Hi, would you like to know how to make this expandable envelope journal? It will expand quite wide, and it's a great little journal. Today I'm going to show you how to make the text block and put this front cover on. It's Violet from Emma Parrish's Etsy shop. I'll leave a link below. She has a lot of different fairies. This one I started back in January. I have a couple of videos from January when it was 10 degrees outside. It is June now when I'm getting back to working on these and hopefully finishing up. And it's 90 degrees outside, so you'll hear all about the nice cold weather. And if you're sitting in this hot weather like me, you'll probably want to be back in that cold weather. But I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you. Hi, today I am working on a new journal. I'm going to be using the Live Violet Occam Mazurkia for piano. I have no idea what that is. I know Violet. This is a digital from Emma Parrish, and I'll put her link below. These, I don't have all the pages, but I have quite a few. I have them all, but I've already cut them out. So I'm going to make a Violet journal, and I'm going to make her with the expandable envelope style that I've been doing lately, and I'm going to walk you through it again. I know I've showed it a couple of times, but I actually fell in love with this kind of a binding because it expands. You get these beautiful little fussy cuts. Like I said, there's a lot more that goes with the kit. This is just what I have in front of me. I have already cut out a lot of stuff. So there's a lot more that goes with it. I just have it over here so that we can use them as we get started. So what I'm going to do first, let me show you this journal. This is an example of what I'm fixing to make. So this spine can expand and get smaller. If you look at it from here, you can see the envelopes inside that I used. And basically that's what it is an envelope journal. Here's your envelope. But the way they're attached, it lets it expand. So I mean, it could be that small, but it could also expand to that big and bigger. So I'm finding this is a very fun journal for me. I've sewn signatures here in the middle. I think this one actually has 3 signatures of regular paper. So these here are the envelope pages. Here's some more coffee dyed papers and stuff like that. So there's like 3, I believe. Did a flip out. I forget who showed me this, but this was pretty cool. A belly band with the moving. So here is another one. And you just, right here, you can see I put in journaling cards. You can actually go and open a couple of the envelopes and make room for journaling cards like this. So then when you get back here to the back, it's the same. Like I said, I'm almost done with this one. I'm still working on the cover. So we're going to start with some envelopes. These are 5 1/4 by 7 1/4. So basically 5 by 7 is what it says on the packaging. So this is 7, this is 5. What I'm doing is I'm just opening and folding back. I found that fold helps a whole lot. when you get to gluing these together. So I've been doing 16 because when I first started doing this, making these, I did not sew that the signatures in of paper. But my reason for 16 at that point was to have one side for a month. So that would give you 32 pages. So I'm going to do 16 here too. So I'm going to cut one of these in half because I need to see if what's going to happen with that border, because I may have messed up. And okay. So what you're going to do is stack all your envelopes with the flap open, just like that. These are all the same way. You're going to take one envelope face up, and you're going to take another one face down, and you're going to put it in like this. And this is where it helps to already have these folded all the way back, because it does make a difference in the end when you're trying to put these together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue from here down through here up to here. I do not want to go up past that little curve right here, because that will take some of its expandableness from it. I don't want to go up this way because there's not a whole lot of room. And what you're going to have to do with this PVA or the Fairly Arts glue is get it in there, and then, like I said, fold it back. Yeah. So this is what happened when I first started putting these together. See how it's sliding this way? It's at an angle. So I did not fold this back to crease that, and I think it had something to do with how this sits. So now I'm not only folding it back before I get started sewing and gluing them together like this, I'm going and I'm closing it up. I'm taking this extra step to check and see that everything is lined up, and then I'm going to do another one the same way. You just stick it in here, pick it up, and look at it. Try to make sure that it's lining up before that glue sticks all the way down. So I'm going to do all 16 the same way. I'm going to start there and go there. And you can just slide it in there. Sometimes it is a little hard. You slide it to where it's just barely. See how they're coming out very nice and even. And I noticed that on the first couple of ones that I made, I started doing different things like pre-folding these flaps and then picking them up and kind of tapping them down so that it falls down in there right. I mean, I'm not sure what the science is behind getting these to work right, but it does seem to be working much better than I had going on over here. So you're putting the, let me see if I can, I don't know how well you can see this. So here is the pocket of the envelope. What we're doing is we have the pocket part face up with the flap underneath. And you take your next one with the pocket part underneath, and you glue this flap right here. So then it just slides in. And you just keep gluing them. And so I've tried to think of a way to get this, to explain it for some people. I know it can be confusing, because it was to me at first. So we're not putting glue all the way up here, and this is a reason why. See this here? It expands. It can squish down a little, and then it can get bigger, which gives you a lot more options. So I do leave these laying face up like that, so they're already in position. Today we've got school closings. I have kids running around everywhere. And for Georgia, the teens is very cold. It has dropped down today. It started around midnight that the temperature started dropping, and we had some rain around 5, 6 o'clock this morning. So they decided to close the schools. The roads I don't think are that bad. They might be. I haven't been out. But the kids standing on the street corners in that freezing weather and windy, I guess they decided it was safer just to let them go stay home, because now, with the virtual classes, that helps a lot. They'll put up virtual class for the day, so the kids get to stay home. I'm not sure what they're going to do tomorrow, because it's supposed to be just as cold. So I don't know if they closed the school because of the cold weather or because of the cold weather and the roads. I think it's supposed to be down like 10 where I'm at in the morning, 10 degrees Fahrenheit. I keep wanting snow, and that's just because I live in Georgia and it hardly ever snows. Maybe once every 10 years we get a decent snow. But when it does snow, because we're Georgians, the world comes to a stop in Georgia. Nobody knows how to drive in it. We get stuck. There's accidents all over the place. If it wasn't for people being hurt, it would be kind of funny. But probably about 8 or 9 years ago, we had a heavy storm come in. They had been predicting it, and it actually shut down the whole interstate for a while. Cars and trucks were sitting over there on 285 and 75. They weren't able to move. So luckily, a lot of the trucks, the big trucks, guys carry food and have refrigerators and different stuff, so they helped out people beside them. And a big truck will hold a lot more fuel, so it can sit idle for several days on a full tank of fuel, whereas the cars couldn't. I mean, there were people that were stranded and nobody could get to them. So now I have my envelope journal. I'm just kind of checking it to see how crooked it might be. Doesn't look too bad. So what I'm doing is just kind of not tearing it, but just twisting it a little bit, kind of pushing that way, and then taking my thumb and pushing that way. I have printed these off, and what I'm going to do, I cut it exactly in half. I almost forgot. I would probably take a break in a little bit and do this, but I did want to distress the edges with some purple. I only need to do the one side right now. So decide which one you want to be the front, which is this one. It's going to go on about right there, so I'm going to have maybe a 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch overlap right there. And when you turn it over, you're going to have overlap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue book, and I'm going to start gluing these in. So I'm pulling the glue from the center of the page towards the outside, which helps keep the glue from getting on the other side of the page. Not that always works, but and I'm putting glue on the whole page. I like the purple, or look, this is blue, because I can see it and I know that I've gotten all the parts. So then I take this, I'm going to turn my journal this way, where the flap is up there. And I'm just kind of looking and estimating where I want that at. Then I'm going to flip over and I'm going to cut this pretty close on both corners. That way we can fold them over and have a lighter corner. So what you want to do is just take your finger and gently roll that over. So right now we're just doing, I do want to cut this off though, because I don't want that white part. I didn't think about that. I don't want that to show up, so let's cut that off. So I'll do this better on the next one. And it'll make sense in a little bit when I put the piece on this side. And I did use stick glue to put the paper on. But then when I start gluing these edges down, I just like to use a thicker glue. I'm trying to poke in these corners here so that they're not real pointy. Okay, so that is our first page. You can see right here, when I folded these, because I cut them at that angle, it leaves a mitered edge, which looks really good. So I've cut all of my pieces down for the front page. I have distress inked it, and I actually used both colors. So I've got the Villainous Potion, and then I'm using Vintage Photo. But because I'm only going to do this top sheet right now, this part right here, we are just inking this side, the part that's going to be up against the fold. So you can go and put this one in if you want, which we will do. So while you were gone, I did try to use these right here, but some of the problem is, and I'm going to use different pages as we go. This one would be great for this side because it's smaller, and I may hold on to that. I think I will, just because of the way it's going to lay. See, now these, I already have that one on. So I don't want the same thing next to each other either. There's 16, or there are 8 pages of this kind of design, so you have enough for 16 if you cut them in half. I feel like I'm getting you all confused. So I am using 2 glue sticks here because I like this Scotch permanent glue stick, I think it does better than any of the other glue sticks, but one problem I have is I can't see. So I'm just gently going back over that to make sure because I've already bought this anyway, so I might as well use it. That's how fast it's drying too. But I always have spots that I miss, and I'm like, well, I've got this purple or blue, why not use it over it, just like this, and then you got some somewhere, and then I can go over right there. So what I'm going to do again is I'm taking this middle, and it's facing away from me, so it's going that way. I'm looking, kind of laying it down here and judging where I've got 1/4 of an inch. I'm looking at the top and the bottom to where they don't have to necessarily be exactly the same, because this one's a little bit taller than this one, but I am trying to get it one thing you can do with these little pieces that you're cutting off the corners, just in case you get it too short, you can put it right there. So I like to do my top and bottom first to pull them in like this and squish them down. I'm going to take my fingernail or my foam folder and kind of pull that in right there. Probably need a little more here. I'm just going to kind of push it in there. Put some more glue here. You could use the other glue too. I just have found that when I use the Scotch glue, it seems to do better for me. I'm going to trim that off so it's not hindering my little edge. So I'm going to keep going through here and doing this page. So have you guys gotten snow and ice in your area yet? Or are you still in the warm areas? I think most of the United States is getting the cold weather these days, even down to South Texas. We have winter storm warnings and freeze warnings out. I don't know if it's my house or what, why this dries so fast, but it seems like before you can even get it down, it is dry. I'm just looking right there and right there because my other side is long enough to fit. I'm just going to cut that at an angle and stick it right back there. I'm going to cut this one at an angle. And then, like I said at first, I am going to trim this just a little bit. And I just kind of roll it. Not real hard, but basically I'm taking and gluing that edge, and I'm taking my fingers and I'm kind of rolling it over so that it pulls the paper over and gets it tighter, but not too tight. These journals have such a great feel. It's amazing. I'm just checking to make sure that those aren't right close together because I've reprinted. So I have duplicates of some, which is fine. They are probably sitting there screaming at me not to use 2 glues. I just don't know. When I use some of the glue sticks, it just seems like the paper, it may stick for a while, but then next thing you know, it is coming loose. So I'm going to go from this side and see if I can get that this time. So I'm just taking these, and eventually I will wind up with the short one. I'll show you how that helps. Normally I throw it away unless I know it's short, but it's a good habit to get into. It's just putting it there. And then if you happen to need it, it's already there. I enjoy gluing these too because I love doing collage because of the gluing that's involved. That's probably why I almost got too short right there, but I think we made it. So when you pick your paper up, you definitely need to look at it and see which direction it's going in, because I have picked it up and put it on the wrong way and had to take it back off. And I am very lightly going over with the blue. Do any of you guys have problems with the glue stick? I know that some people say it's the environment. It could be the humidity and stuff in the room. And that Scotch Brand Permanent, it gets my fingers sticky. So all I did was I printed these borderless, and I cut them in half at the 5.5 inch mark, long ways. So it's now 5.5 by 8.5. So I do have a little extra that's going over right here. We got a little bit more than 1/4 inch on the seam, but I would rather have that on the flap to have the extra than not to, because when you start cutting that off, it just makes it hard to, you have to really push and tug and get everything just right. Whereas this way you have a little more here, but you can see this side, there's not as much to play with. These digitals are so pretty with the little girls. I know that Emma is doing, I think it was 13 different fairies digital sets. She's releasing one a week, although the digitals I think are already in her Etsy shop. The ones like this and the folio is what she's releasing for the most part every week. So I don't know when the violet is going to come out. I've done the snowdrop and I have the daffodil. I've gotten ready, but I haven't done anything with it yet because I was thinking, what can I do with it besides what everybody's doing with the directions and all. You ever feel like your desk is just not big enough? Now I'm just guesstimating, estimating, I don't know which way you want to say it, on where to cut that angle like that. See how much more I got here? Because my lower part wound up being a little bit longer than the top. Now you could measure all this. I know I probably said that already. I just don't like measuring. So if I were using a smaller envelope, shorter, fatter one, like I think what, an A2, or is that the other way around? Like a 3x5, you would just, see here, I'm fixing to have one that's going to be too short. I cut it too short. So see how that's not quite meeting? So when I pull this over, this is going to cover that up where it's kind of too short. You see how you really can't see that that's shorter. So I feel like I keep doing the same videos over again with just different digitals, especially with this one, but I'm enjoying making these journals so much. They're just how they expand. So I want to keep doing them, but then if I want to do a video, I'm doing kind of the same as far as putting the journal together. So I guess it's more like a craft with me if you've been here. If you haven't been here, then you don't have to go back to the older videos unless you want to. And after you do this a while, you'll see it gets easier, because when I first started trying to judge where I wanted to put that page on that envelope, it took a while, just because I had to figure out where I was in regards to the envelope. I'm trying not to be too quiet, so I might actually can get more of the video for you. I know that Debbie and Paula say they like to just craft while I'm over here doing my cutting and crafting and making. They're doing the same thing. See right here? It's a little bit off, so that helped. So with the glue, you always want to go from the middle or like one side. I'm not quite up to this edge, and go out instead of going back and forth like this, because that will get ink under your page and make it, you'll have, not ink, I say ink all the time, you'll have glue under there, and then it's hard to get it off. I mean, you can cover it up. That's the beauty of junk journaling, is the more layers you have, the prettier it can be. At least that's what a lot of people say. I tend to agree. So I did decide to use, I was going to do just the purple, and I changed my mind on the distressing of the edges. I've got it mixed between the purple and the vintage photo, and I think it gives it both. It gives it a good look. And these craft envelopes seem to take more glue than the others. It's like they soak up the glue, whereas the white ones are not quite as bad about soaking it up. When I first saw the Snowdrop Fairy, which is a green fairy, the fairy's got white and green are the colors that we use. Like, oh, that's pretty. And I saw this one. I'm like, oh no, I gotta have that one. I'll do the Snowdrop because it's a challenge over in Debbie's Facebook group. I definitely wanted this purple. Purple's my favorite color. You can see I even got my nails that color this time, which is not unusual for me, but I was thinking, oh, it matches. This time what I'm looking at is this corner and that corner to get my sides, because I like the way that kind of looks. But if you notice, I've got a lot more paper down here at this end, and you can trim this off too if you want to. I have done that in the past. Look. See right here where I didn't quite get it rolled enough. I don't know where all the kids went. They were up here earlier. Sometimes you just need to take your bone folder and fold that edge over. And I'm learning that the bigger the piece of paper, that you're putting the glue on, the quicker that glue goes, changes color, I guess, because you're just putting so much on it. So I've gotten where I try to do my best to stay quicker, but I ain't that quick at this. And the reason I'm using the glue stick instead of the Barely Arts is because it does give the page more structure to me. It feels like it thickens that glue, and then it sticks. I get it on. So what I'm looking at here is this edge that I like. I would like to get it awful close. I'm going to trim a little bit off here just because that one's really big where I moved all of them. So my office is across the hallway from my bedroom, and it faces, I don't know if that's east or west. I think it's west. And so it's warmer in here, especially during the summertime. It's hot. And the other side of the house is freezing. But in the wintertime, when the heater's going, I've got my heater set at 62 right now just because I'm hot and I'm sitting here sweating. Like y'all need to know all that. But I don't know if you can see the light changing. See right here, I've gotten too short. And it really needs this little piece. So if you've already gotten it started, you just pull it back up and slide it in here. I was talking and wasn't paying attention. So I would like to know if y'all like watching this whole for everything step for step or second by second, or if you like it edited where it's shorter. Because I know I'll get so far and I quit talking. But I've tried to do voiceovers and that doesn't work. I have to be talking while I'm working, or it just messes me up. But then also I get into my work and I forget to talk, or when I've been working at it a while, then I'll get more quiet. I don't know if I'm getting tired or if I just done talk so much. I'm running out of things to talk about. That is the one thing of doing YouTube videos is you're talking, but there's nobody actually in the room with you. But you guys are listening at a different time. Every time I make these and I start adding stuff into it and I put that spine on there, it just amazes me how pretty it is. And the expandability and the feel in my hand. I think I like that part better. It just feels good. So what I have found out though, by using this much of the glue book, and I'm using this with the shiny paper, after it dries, I can go back and use that page again. See, because all you're doing is gluing on it. If you were putting it in the book, it would matter that when it come off there, it was the other way. Well, we're getting close to the end here. How long have I got? So you could cut these and not pull them around the outsides. And I'll show you what I mean especially with this, it's got that craft color to it. So I haven't distressed the edges here yet, but we will. Now I did go in and I didn't show it, but I distressed that little bitty line right here. That way when I'm done, I won't have to do as much right there, and it may not make my edges too distressed. I don't know how to explain that one. That didn't make sense in my own brain. So Paula has a YouTube video now, and she is doing a great job. You definitely need to go over there and check her page out. I'll leave a description page. I mean her YouTube channel, and it's actually, she has it titled Paula Moore's is what it is on YouTube. She showed how to sew in a signature, and then yesterday she did pockets. I think she did 3 or 4 or 5 different pockets, and she's doing great. I really like how her voice is very loud, a lot louder than mine, and clear. I don't know if she's got a microphone or not. I'll have to ask her. I have to use mine because y'all can't hear me if I don't. I mean, right now I feel like I'm talking very loud, and I know when I go to edit, I turn the volume up even more. And I'll tell you, I feel like sometimes I'm screaming because I feel like I'm talking too loud. And then when I try to talk loud, I can't do it because I feel like I'm screaming. So we've almost got that front page on all of our pages. I think we got one more left. So let me see what I got over here. See, I have one journal that I made like this with 9 by 13 inch envelopes, and I did 20 instead of 16. I thought about doing 10 or 5. You don't have to do so many. Like I said, I do mine because at first I was thinking, okay, page for a month, and then you got an extra page. So I am wanting to try and do some smaller ones. Well, the first one I did that I gave away, I think had 10 pages. I don't remember. No, it was smaller. It was like a 4 by 6. And I actually used junk mail envelopes and cut them down. I got those almost too wide now. When I get them wide like that, sometimes I will go in and just clip this like this, make it a little bit shorter. Okay, so that is our last front page. You see how they just look so cool. So we need to put this page on now, on the back of those. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you'll like and subscribe. Leave me a comment, definitely a comment. Let me know what the weather is in your place, because when I filmed this was in January. When I'm posting it's in June, so it's a big difference. But thank you and have a great day.